Today we are going to talk about an autobiography by a king. In my knowledge, I do not know of any other Indian king or even almost any world leader who wrote an autobiography except this one man. I know a lot of court historians have written a lot of books like, Abu Fazl wrote Akbarnama and there are other books, Jahangir, etc., etc. But there is only one king who wrote an autobiography, and the whole language and tenor and the way it goes about it clearly makes you feel that this is written by himself only. It is not, the kind of flowery language you expect from a court historian. Without further ado, this book is the first Mughal emperor's book called Baburnama. It was one of the first books on Mughal history that I read long back, and it was very interesting for many reasons. Babur today is notorious for many reasons in the country. Most people associate him with loot, plunder, the entry of the Mughals into India, and for many other disputes. I am not getting there. That is not my space in this vlog about. My vlog is about the fact that I immediately found it interesting that a king had written a book on his life. So you would get first hand experience and knowledge. My takeaways were several among them, and what makes this book a worthwhile read is this. You see, Babur came from very aristocratic lineage. From one side of his family, he was a descendant of the Genghis Khan. From the other side of the family, he had a lineage from Temur. So from the beginning, he believed in his own royal right to rule. The problem was this: he was a king without a kingdom. So while he had those arrogant airs, he did not have as such a kingdom. If you read Baburnama, most of its time in his youth is spent around occupying forts and then losing them to his cousins, to his family, something or the other, subplots, etc., etc. Many a times conquering a city, then getting thrown out of it. It goes on and on. Okay, so this man constantly fought every day to survive. Nowhere does it give you a glimpse that he is going to be remembered as a great legend of the creator of empire in history. What struck me and remained with me foremost is, if you yourself believe that you are destined for great things and you keep doing, pushing wherever you get a chance, sooner than later you are able to crack it. It is all a lot of chance and situation that he finally got tired of, trying to establish an empire in Central Asia and Samarkand, and somehow reached Kabul, and by an extremely lucky circumstance he managed to capture Kabul, and from there it became imperative to attack India. And he actually attacked and won. I don't know if he himself really thought that one fine day he could be sitting suddenly on the thrones of Delhi. So that's my key takeaway from it. The other aspects are a little more interesting or humorous or whatever. For example, his very unapologetically description about, his love for this young boy that is there in his camp, and the way he goes about showing that he's too completely, in love, etc. I was very surprised that these kind of things could be very openly written in an autobiography. Anyways, that is an interesting part. If you are keen, you should read it on your own and make your own judgments as you feel are appropriate. I don't want to get into any form of controversy here or divulge more about Babur's love life. The other aspect is, you see, when he conquers India, it's very evident that he misses Central Asia. Nowhere does he love India. Even he cribs about the fruits, the climate of that they were better in Kabul and in Central Asia. He remained a Central Asian. You see, he it is almost like someone who's gone abroad for a work, and like an Indian who's gone to US and constantly all his life kept cribbing that this country is pathetic. I miss my country. I miss the climate. I miss the food there. I miss my warmth, etc. That is what Babur all the time did. It was very amusing for me to think about a king always missing his place of birth. That was the other key takeaway that I had from this book. The rest are simple observations on life, on the day to day events, about his feelings about all sorts of things in life, from his feelings towards the divine to day to day affairs to his feelings on interpersonal relationship, family, etc. etc. It comes across very refreshing because when you read, you see, journals written for kings, okay, they already treat the king as a holier than thou figure. So these basic date inputs like would come in a normal other person, another person's autobiography does not get captured. Baburnama offers you a rare glimpse to listen to a man from that century, to listen to a king rather from that century. It can inspire you in the sense of thinking that, what, if you keep struggling day in and day out somehow or the other, and you're open minded in wherever life takes you. You're not able to succeed in Central Asia, you come to Kabul, you come to Delhi, you could succeed as long as you really believe in it. So having said that, Babur was truly blue blood, in that sense. As I said, he came from a very, very esteemed lineage and he made it big. He was the ultimate star son, if I may say so. So if you want to read about the life of a struggling star son in those times, you should read Babur. Finally, you should simply read it because I'm sure recent political discourse would have told you that, you know, he is one of the most controversial figures of medieval history. The most exciting part for me was, you see, and I know of the controversies around him when I bought this book, it's this, that you see, you hear name and you have this larger than life image, and then you read his autobiography, he comes across as just another guy, if you know what I mean. I'm not getting into good, bad, or any of those things. You know, I am simply saying he comes across as another guy who has his own set of issues and all. And you wonder, this man would have not even dreamt that he would be discussed hundreds of years later. I mean, you see, you imagine a phantom in political discussions, and then when you read him and listen to his thoughts and the mundane day-to-day thoughts that he has of survival, of living, of managing to feed his troops, who are very small in handful, and just trying to go by the day and survive by the day, you wonder, you know, the amazing aspect of history and the amazing aspect of humans, in the sense that, you see, human being who was just barely coexisting at that point of time today seems like some sort of a grand, you can say, emperor who did this, who did that. I'm not absolving him of whatever he did, absolutely not. But it was refreshing to me to see that he was just a human being, if you know what I mean. So go and read it if you want to simply see a man come across, not an emperor, not this grand invader who came and conquered India, etc., etc., but just as someone who's trying to make a career for himself. If you can connect on that level with Babur and just see the similarities between today people struggling to make a career and make a benchmark and all, and you know, imagine, for all you know, one fine day suddenly they get chances and they become some CEO of some big company, and then they leave a mark in history so big that they are discussed hundreds of years later. That is how I would look at Babur. So, with that, I end this vlog suggesting that anybody who is interested in reading an emperor's thoughts should definitely read Babur's thoughts. Thank you.